Hi, Tony.
Hi, how's it going?
Welcome. Pretty good. Welcome to our show. I guess if you're a fan of this show, you probably know who you are. But just for the sake of it, just can you let our audience and our listeners show who you are, please?
Yes, I'm Tony Payne. I'm a member of the Thai national athletics team. I'm the marathon national record holder for Thailand. My PB is 2 hours and 16 minutes right now. Currently living in the UK and currently on lockdown, like many of us are at the moment.
Which part of UK?
London.
Wow.
London.
Okay. All right. So, as we recording the show, we are still on hopefully on the latter part of the pandemic. So, before we hit this pandemic, what was your training, racing, and anything prior to, I would say, what, March or April 2020?
Yeah,
right?
For me, at the end of last year, I was unfortunate to have quite a serious Achilles tendon injury, which I was unable to finish the SEA Games, which was very disappointing. So I was trying to recover from that injury and try to make a last ditch effort to try to qualify for Tokyo. So my plan was to go to Kenya, to go to E10 for an altitude training camp and try to run a qualifying time in May for Tokyo. But of course, everything changed within about 2 or 3 weeks and everything was cancelled. Couldn't fly anywhere. And then, of course, Tokyo has been postponed until next year. So the new plan was just to stay in London and just do my training from home.
Well, but if you were able to go and fly to E10, you're probably stuck over there.
That's right. And they made the rules that you couldn't train with anyone. You would have to just train on your own. Oh. And the medical facilities aren't that great. It's a very small village there.
Yeah.
So you don't want to push. It was the sensible decision to stay behind. And of course, there's no racing. Everything's been cancelled anyway, so there's no point going now.
You've been over there, right? Have you been over there?
No, I haven't been to Kenya. I've spent a bit of time doing some altitude training in Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
And well, that's the only real altitude stints I've done are in Colorado Springs, which is nowhere near as high as E10. But it's good. It's good training facilities there. But no, I was really looking forward to going to E10, not only for the training, but just to get, it's like the running mecca. You want to see the culture.
Yeah, true.
As a running fan as well as an athlete. So it was disappointing not to be able to go, but hopefully sometime in the future I can do that.
Yeah, it's just like a football fan in Thailand. I mean, if you want to go at the end one day of your life, you want to go to UK to see a mecca of football.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I'm very lucky in the UK to have that.
Yeah,
have the football there as well. But yeah, it's true. It's like it's something I'll do one day because it's like there's that mystique around the African runners, and to see how they do things every day would be really good.
I know I'm probably not gonna put you on the spot, but if let me know if you want me to cut this part out. But Like Colorado Spring, they have a. Have you been into a Olympic training center?
No, I didn't use the US training facilities there.
I
Well,
mean,
I've got a friend who has a house, a New Zealand friend who has a house in Manitou Springs, which is
oh,
about
okay.
15 minutes drive from Colorado Springs.
Mhm.
But we trained with the American Distance Project guys, so the army based
Okay.
Kenyan athletes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they include Paul Chalimo, who has Olympic medal, world champs medal. So I was training with his group, which was really cool because they're amazing athletes. But no, we didn't use the facilities, the US facilities there.
It will be interesting if our authority can kind of request. It would be nice too, you know. I mean, they might have a program to help.
Yeah, possibly.
If we contact them in the national, if then our national authority contact them in their behalf, on your behalf.
Yeah, it's honestly something I didn't even think about. I guess, like as a distance runner, the facilities that I need are mainly the world. Just running on the nice trails, and being outside. The other stuff,
I mean, the like good food, nutrition, good. Yeah, I mean, I've been there 3 times on Olympic Center, training center, and that's the best facility at altitude, and that's a lot of stuff. It's just that they have a full time, and also I know they have different national athlete coming in and use the facility and be some full time for a couple months before major event. I know my friend coach in Brazil, who is a scientist for Brazil national team for a triathlon, and he usually bring his team and ask for permission to use for like a month before main event that they really aim for. So that's one thing that you could look into. That, you know, if they can help, that's always worth asking, right?
Yeah, it's something I should maybe look at in the future, but yeah, the future's all a bit uncertain at the moment anyway.
Yeah, true. So so you got heartbroken by Ethan, also from SEA Games. So how about your injury? How is it? How is it treating
it's
you
good
right
now? It was like we're looking back. It was I had some imaging done, MRI, and it was pretty bad. But no surgery or anything required. Just to it just needed rest and strengthening.
Okay.
But yeah, at SEA Games, I was given the all clear that I could run, or at least try to run, and I thought I maybe would have been able to, being honest, probably not win, but still get a medal because of the injury. But yeah, it was just too difficult to run. It was so painful. But since after SEA Games, I was able to recover. It was about 3 months to be able to run back to 100% training. But things are all good now. I've got some slight niggles, and it's quite annoying. Some slight injuries at the moment. It's quite annoying because we're not allowed to see any physiotherapists or physical therapists at the moment. But hopefully things will open up soon. I'll be able to get some treatment.
Okay, so it just you didn't have to have any major surgery or anything, right?
No, it was the tendon had just become damaged from, I guess, just maybe excessive loading to the tendon. also had a slight calf tear as well. So it was pretty damaged, but it just with rest and strengthening the areas that needed to be strengthened to prevent it happening again.
Okay. Well, that's a good news then. I mean, that's the good that we can take out of the bad, I guess, during this pandemic. That you were able to fully heal, and
it's true, 100%. For me, having more time is good because the injury, I did miss a lot of running. I was doing cross training, but there's no substitute for running for a marathon runner. So time is good, and having more time to train means I can look to work on my my speed rather than endurance for a while before I go back into a marathon type training again. So I'm doing more 10K type training at the moment, which is good.
Okay. So you give time to catch up with everybody, so you didn't miss out anything. That's one thing too, hopefully. Right? Yeah. Okay. So anything has been passed prior to COVID-19 that we didn't know, aside from your injury and training and all this stuff?
What do you mean, like
anything else that happened that you didn't mention that prior to?
Not really. Like it was the plan was just to try to qualify for Tokyo, and everything was like geared towards that. But with COVID, COVID has, things became a little bit difficult to train because we had restrictions on how many times. We were only allowed to train once per day outside. All the facilities are closed.
That's hard. Yeah.
Compared to the other like Southeast Asian athletes, like in the Philippines, you're not allowed to go outside at all. And same with Italy and other athletes. So it made sense to postpone the Olympics because it was just impossible for everyone to train.
Okay, there's a question I guess a lot of people wanted to know since you bring it up. How's the qualification for Olympics is gonna handle since they're gonna push it to next year? I used to have a hope to qualify for since, hopefully this will be done in a month or so that we could see some race coming up. But, at worst case scenario, let's say everything start to coming back at the end of the year and Tokyo is still another 10 months. 10 months away. Do you hear anything on Athlete Path?
Well, being honest, I'm quite pessimistic about racing coming back because it seems to me that the last type of event is which governments were allowed to continue, like mass participation running events. We have thousands of people crammed all together on the start line and all breathing on each other, and it seems like that will be the last thing to come back. So I'm quite nervous that any big marathons anyway will be held at all this year and maybe into next year without a vaccine. But I can't worry about that. I need to just put myself in the best position, at least with the hope that racing will continue. But it's out of my control. I can only control what I can control. So I don't lose any sleep about it.
But also one thing, it could happen for elite and sub-elite, if you know what I mean.
That could be a solution. Yeah. There could be a solution for some marathons to be held. But again, it's like the economics holding a marathon. It's like all the prize money comes from the entry fees. Well, entry fees and sponsors. So I don't know how many marathons will be held on the basis that only elite runners will be running, but I'll see. There'll be I'm sure there'll be options somewhere where I can try to run fast. Whether it be what country has the restrictions which are lessened compared to others, but yeah, it's all fluid at the moment, and I'm just waiting to see so I can make a plan.
Okay, that's good. So, how was your training? I know you kind of touched a little bit that you have to go out. You were able to go out once a week, but that's kind of like a latter stage of this. Knock on wood, Yeah. How about prior to that, when everything was peak?
Yeah, it was even at the peak. We're still allowed to train.
Really?
Like in the UK were quite liberal in their restrictions. You're still allowed to train outside. You weren't no running tracks, no gym. Like all the facilities were shut, but you're still allowed to go for a run.
That's nice.
Outside. So it didn't have that much of an impact on my ability to stay fit, but I couldn't do my full proper training because I try to train twice a day, so I could only train once outside. So I started doing some biking on the trainer inside, and with my gym clothes, I've just been improvising with weights that I can use at home. I'm just trying to do everything at home.
Wear a hat, put the sunglasses on, and say that I'm Tony Payne the second. This is my twins. My brother ran this morning. I ran in the afternoon.
Pretty much. Like it was tempting to run twice because it's like, well, who's gonna know if you're running twice? But like it's a serious because my partner, she works in the healthcare system in the UK, so we're being very strict with following the rules. So just out of it's not a good situation.
Yeah, you might end up sleeping outside the house. I understand.
Yeah, that's right.
Follow the rules, bro. Yeah, okay. So pretty much, I'm not gonna say that there's no impact on your training, but it's a lot less than, especially my athlete who is on the East Coast. There are no running at all. So it's not that bad, but it's not that good either. But you still can maintain. Yeah.
Relatively, it's been okay for me. I've been quite lucky, and the weather has become a lot nicer. So the training's actually been quite good, and like the parks are almost they're emptier than usual, and in London. So it's been good. It's like the hard thing. The hard thing's probably motivation rather than anything, and planning, and just trying to work out what training to do, because there's no idea when we're going to be able to race again. So it's quite difficult to get yourself out the door when you don't know. You do, to do that hard training session. It's like, well, why am I doing this now when I don't know when the next race will be? So at the moment, I'm just trying to, doing a lot less running than usual. Just trying to improve on my 5 and 10K speed. And then when I have an idea of when the next race will be, I will look to start doing marathon training again, but not at the moment.
I think that's kind of things that people struggling is that why I have to do this. This kind of, you are not alone. A lot of professional athletes are like, coach, why do we need to train this hard when we don't know when the race is gonna happen? I was like, well, I can't answer you that. So, in terms of obviously, at least, I mean, can't deny that you are elite runner for us. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly that you can get from this situation?
Well, for me, like personally, it gave
Mhm.
me, I guess, because I had an injury, so it gave me more time. To I guess not rush my training, and I can do things properly, and gives me a good opportunity to get into better shape and work on, because all the pressure of racing is off now, so I can like work on my weaknesses without, because I've had target marathon after marathon for like 2 years, and I was quite burnt out, and it led to injury. So it gives me more time to have a look and reassess what I'm doing. But yeah, the bad is obviously that there is no racing, travel restrictions. Like, who knows when things are going to come back? But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just sport. We need to get this thing under control. It's the most important thing at the moment.
Okay. All right. So I know it's kind of be impossible, I would say, to kind of ask the next question. But what's your plan and goal? Um, let's be optimistic. If everything's good next year, okay. Yeah.
So one thing that is actually quite helpful is that World Athletics, or formerly the IAAF, they said that you can't qualify any time that you run to qualify doesn't count until the 1st of December. So it's about looking at races from December 1 and what race is the best target. So it gives you a bit of certainty in that you can aim for the end of the year. So realistically, I may have 2 opportunities to qualify, and I'll look for a race in probably January, possibly Houston, where you are, as an opportunity to run, and then maybe if I don't qualify there, another go in May before the qualifying period ends. So it's all very far in the future at the moment. I've got time.
You might like Houston Marathon. It's gonna be like running in the UK. It's either hot, cold, rains. I mean, I ran one time and it's like it started out so cold that bad, and then after the race midway it's raining so hard, and then at the finish line it's so hot that I had to strip everything off. It's like, oh my god, what race is this? So
yeah, I've watched Houston a few times just on the live stream, and yeah, it's very different weather every year. It is.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah, but that's good. Like, because one way to qualify, you can either qualify by time, running 2:11:30, or if you finish top 5 in a gold label race like Houston, that's another way to qualify. So unpredictable weather makes it more likely that there'll be more variance in the results. So people will make mistakes, and it's more chance to finish in the top 5. So it's okay.
And usually Houston Marathon is not like the big race that people are peaking.
Yeah, correct.
It's kind of like in January, just coming out, it's still winter. So it's kind of like take the rust out of athletes. So
yeah, it's traditionally not that strong.
Yeah, true.
But it's fast.
Yeah.
And I'd love to. I haven't raced a marathon in the US, so that would be quite a cool thing to do as well. Because I think the US they look after the elite athletes very well, and the support on the course in the US is very strong. So it would be good to give that a go.
Yeah, you mentioned about gold label, but we have also gold label marathon in Thailand right now.
It's the
Bang San 42.
Bang San is the half marathon gold label, I think.
But you're right.
I know
21. Sorry.
That P Rutt is looking at making the marathon gold label one day.
I forgot about it. Sorry, because U.S. Olympic trial qualify, they take both half marathon and marathon time. I kind of confused with Olympic trial itself. Okay.
So what could happen, and if Bang San marathon is gold label, there'll be an opportunity for Thai athlete to qualify for the Olympics in Thailand. That'll be amazing.
Because one thing is within the vicinity of New York Marathon. Right? Usually it's around that time period.
Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of big names are gearing towards the bigger purse. So you have you have a wider opportunity to become top 5.
And the weather is it's hot and
hilly.
It's hilly course. So it's like honestly, it could present a really good opportunity for Thai athlete in the future.
Yeah. So I would say if you're aiming for Houston, maybe going back and training in Thailand in the latter part of the year might benefit you. What do you think?
It could be like heat training is you get big benefit from heat training.
Yeah, I mean you get, obviously you have more plasma.
That's right.
You will kind of dehydrate slower, and then you get faster of heat acclimatization if you train in
that's
Thailand.
true. I don't know my plan yet, but it's possible that some heat training beforehand might be the right approach.
Yeah, and I know Khao Yai is not that high. The altitude is not high, but it's higher than Houston. We are literally sea level.
Yeah.
So being in Khao Yai might help. I mean, it's hot.
Possibly.
The weather.
You get like the best. You get both the heat and the a bit of altitude as well, which could be good.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
I think at that time of the year, I would say this is May when we talk. So there's another 6 months. Anything could happen. I mean, I don't think all athletes are motivated and have a goal set. So, Houston Marathon could be a good opportunity for you, I would say.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Olympics obviously is your goal for next year. Anything else that kind of like on your bucket list for a marathon?
Well, I've got a few goals. Like I'd like hopefully to run a 10K sometime in the near future, and to try to break. We'll run 29 minutes something for 10K, which will give me good speed for the marathon. And I'd really like to run to qualify for the Olympics, I need to run quite a big new PB for the marathon. But I think that there'll be a new national record. I'd be very proud if I can get it down by a few minutes, because when I ran the national record 2 years ago, the weather wasn't very good either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the right weather conditions and I'm a bit stronger, I can take a few minutes off. It'd be great.
Well, just to let our audience know, we have a good chat before we recording this, and one thing he said, and I kind of say no right away, is that he's old. I was like, oh no, I Kipchoge, he broke a world record at what, 37, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, I'm not telling that you are Kipchoge, but you are in a sense of age, you know. I mean, you just new on the marathon course, so you have
the marathon. Yeah, you're right. Like the marathon is a lucky that you can be very good for a long time. The marathon, I think you build that strength every year. You can build layer upon layer, and if you might lose a little bit of your top end speed, but you know it's a strength gain, as you know.
So, I mean, whoever come into this show, I mean, and to be able to do that is the pride of the nation. It's not Tony Payne names. It's the pride of the nation. So, and one thing that we talked is that it's not him alone that could do that. It's a lot of support from different authority, you know, race and all the stuff that can help break the national record. There's gonna be a big 6-7 years from now, you know, who knows, you'll be 2 with 1 digit, you know. I really hope that's gonna happen.
Well, maybe like it's look to improve every year, and hopefully, like if I run, you know, if I take a few minutes off my time, like I'd love someone, another Thai person to break my record and raise the level for Thai running, because I'm talented and I'm good, but I'm not, you know, I'm not at a level where anywhere near winning an Olympic medal, and like I'm just kind of hope just to raise the bar for the next person, the next Thai runner, and hopefully growing up in Thailand would be great if it could be a local runner to push through to the next level. But I just do the best that I can and try to inspire people to hopefully take the torch one day.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, a lot of people are having you as a role model, you know, that I want to be like Tony. So that a great is a great inspiration for a lot of road runners. So I don't think the people at our age are gonna be at your level now. Obviously, it takes more than 2 years to become elite runners. You know, it takes a lifetime, but maybe the next generation of kids, or you know, whoever is on the peak at the short distance right now might follow your footsteps. You know. But I still hope, and I know, I believe that at another 6 year, we will see single digits on after your 209.
Yeah, hopefully.
Mean, 7 minutes. Let's aim for a minute a year. Why not, right? I mean,
well, my first marathon, I ran 2 hours 28, and that was, when was that? 7 years ago.
Okay.
So we've improved by 12 minutes in 7 years, so we can keep chipping away.
Yeah, true. I mean, usually you still have that gain from top end speed. This is from a coaching perspective that at 31, 32, you still have that top end speed that you can gain in the short distance. You start see a lot of decline at 34, 35, that it's going to be stagnant. So being, like you said, 10K, 5K training right now, I think you'll be surprised what's going to affect on your marathon time, I believe.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the plan. Because I'm not being forced to run another marathon in the near future. So to try to work on that shorter speed, to hopefully bring that marathon time down is, I think, the right approach.
Okay. So who are you working with right now in terms of training?
Ultimately self-coach. I make the decisions around my training plan, but I have like a network of people who I speak to. Okay. Be it so my former coach and more mentor now, Craig Motley. He's a New Zealander. He's a former New Zealand selector for the national team. He's worked with me since I was 20 years old. So we've been together for like over 10 years now. Wow. But now more of a mentor role, and I run my training by him. But I speak to other professional athletes from that I've met throughout the years, and I talk to them about training. And there's a group in London that I train with. There's a couple of coaches. We have a training session once a week, like interval, about 8K of interval training, and they just split it up. Like it's just breaking it up in a way that's interesting. And so I work with that group and try to be flexible because the group is so good. So we help push each other to try to work together. So to summarize, I make the ultimate decisions with my training, but I speak to a lot of people about what they're doing.
Again, it might just throw you under the bus, but we can take it off if you want. But are you preferably to have a coach, or are you happier where you are?
No, I'm happy where I am, because when I first started working, trying to do my own training, it was a big part of it is because I used to work long hours as a lawyer, so then I need to be really flexible with my training plan to try to fit in when I had time. And I found that I enjoyed the challenge of setting my own program and being ultimately accountable to myself. And I've really enjoyed the process of learning the approaches that work for me to run. Like, I'm not doing it all on my own. I do speak to people, but I do prefer it this way. But again, the problem, I find the biggest risk with being self-coached is that sometimes you don't know that you're pushing it a little bit too hard, and you get a bit too, you need someone who can look objectively at your training and your performance to say, hey, you should make these little tweaks. So that's the weakness, but I think it works. It does work for me.
That's good, because a lot of people, especially on the elite level, they're like, not elite level, sorry, a lot of people, they just need somebody to push them a little bit. But elite level, just like you said, they like to have somebody to pull you back a little bit, because you guys have that mentality of like, it's my race. So you get a lot of people have to, elite level has to have somebody to pull you back. It's like, hey, hold on,
It's
take
true.
a step back, because you guys strive for the best. So yeah, that's great. I know I didn't tell you this about this next section. So it's called a lightning round. So
Okay.
I'll ask you and then you just tell us what the answer is. Okay, there's no right or wrong, so don't worry. Okay, let's start.
Good.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
What's your favorite book?
Oh, the best piece of storytelling I've enjoyed was probably The Blind Side by Michael Lewis. It's about I like Michael Lewis, the author. So he told a story about an American football player, American football player. It was made into a film, but I don't really like the film that much. But the book told a very good story. It's very uplifting. Taken in by a family. It's a great piece of storytelling.
Michael Orr, right?
Yeah, Michael Orr made the NFL. It's very good.
Yeah. It's amazing how I was kind of really have a question, is this true? Until I look into it, it's like, man, this is from the real stories.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So talent, it has to be on the right place, right?
That's right. You can say, like, for a guy, like, you need talent and you need people to help. Everyone has help to get to where they are.
Yeah, true. Favorite training session?
Session. Probably my favorite one is only when I'm fit, but I when we do my big marathon session, we'll do like 5 or 6 by 3K.
Okay.
And then at marathon speed, and you have 1K float recovery between each repetition, but the float is still, it's only like 20 seconds per K slower than the rep. So it's a continuous run. And when that's the session that gets you very strong, that sort of stuff for the marathon. But it's hard, but I enjoy it when I'm fit and rolling, and it gives you confidence for your marathon.
You're a hardcore runner. So what else? The favorite country to live in.
Well, I've kind of jumped around. I'd say I did really love New Zealand because it's a very good lifestyle, but because it's beautiful and it's not too many people. But the UK is probably the answer at the moment where I am now, because London is great for running, and you also have the connection to Europe as well. It's all very close.
No, okay.
So I'll say London, UK.
London. Best food dishes.
Oh. Well, I do love Thai food, but being completely honest, my biggest soft spot for food is pizza, and it's not good for too many calories. But
Hey.
but maybe my it's probably pizza. That is my soft spot. But my mother's cooking as well. She's a cook in New Zealand. She works at a Thai/Cambodian restaurant in my hometown in New Zealand, and her cooking is very good as well.
Oh, okay. So there's two answers, right?
Yeah.
Best vacation spot?
Or I would say I like going to France. I love the French food and wine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's your best music?
Oh, this is my favorite music. Is probably, this has changed, but I do love the Beatles.
Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that if you're in UK, right?
That's right.
Okay, so there's a top 7 question that we want to know. Any words for the fans?
I'd just like to say that without the support of the fans, it would make running professionally for me impossible. And so I'm very grateful to everyone who supports me. And, I've got a very loyal fan base, and it honestly helps push me forward and try to do my best for my fans and for Thailand. So it's very thankful. And when people tell me that they do some running because I inspire them, it's very special to me, and I feel like that I'm helping people as well. So it's very much appreciated, all the support that I have.
Okay. So people on Thai fan base can contact you or see you. You have your page, right? Or
Yeah, so you can follow me on IG. If you just search, it's my handle is Payne Tony, but if you search Tony Payne, I'll show up. And I also have a Facebook page, athlete Facebook page. You can follow me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. I'll make sure that I put everything on my show notes and make sure people can go and harass you and say that, hey, you're my inspiration on your page. So, best of luck, and hope this thing over soon. So
Yeah,
we can
thank you.
We can see.
Stay safe as well. It's a crazy time, but I think we'll get through it. We'll get through it together, and maybe on the other side we might think about things a different way, and the world might be for the better. But it's tough at the moment, but we will get through.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you in Houston if everything fall into plan. We might have a live session in Houston.
Yeah, that would be great. Great to see you in person.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot for being on our show. And then
no worries. It was a good chat.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.